Okay, so everybody raise your hand and answer this question. If you're taking an AP test and you discover from the reading that they're asking you to find a volume, I believe strongly you must have what I'm thinking as the first thought. Who knows what I'm thinking? Like, what is my first thought always? I'll pay pebbles for this. What is my first thought always when they say find volume? No exception.
Length times width times height.
2 pebbles, but no. What's my very first thought?
Like a slice. Like
Yep.
focus on a slice.
My first thought is, in a little more detail to that, I must find the area of the cross section. That's on your golden notes right here. Yep, bottom right. When you're finding the volume of a solid, the very first thought should be, what is the area of the cross section? Guaranteed, this is the best approach. I've never seen this fail. So you think, okay, I've got to find the area of the cross section. So if you had your hand raised, mark down 2, don't grab them yet. We're going to try and give away as many pebbles as possible. We'll get all pebble happy, as Mackenzie says. Okay, next question. Raise your hand, please. Raise your hand if you can tell me. Raise your hand if you can tell me. We've got to know what the shape of the cross section is, or we've got to know a way to find the area of the cross section. Sometimes they give us a formula for it, not always. So, hands up, who knows how we are supposed to be, do we know the shape of the cross section, or do we know the area? It's got to be one of the two. It's always one of those two. We either know the shape, or we know the area. What is it, Brooklyn?
The shape.
Is?
The square.
How many knew? 2 more. So we know the shape of every cross section is a square. So here's where the video is a little bit hard, but I can do it for you guys. So the shape of a cross section is this. We're working with S. So if I put my cross section onto S, and draw a line. Okay, listen, hey, listen close. Listen, we'll get Jenna a stack after we get through this set. Okay, I guarantee, if you will not copy what I'm doing, but if you'll make sense of what I'm doing, you won't ever miss these ever again. Like your score can literally jump by 6, 8, 9, 10 points if you can just get the volume problems. Okay, and it really is just a matter of making sense of the logic. So any questions about the shape of this cross section? Any questions that I just drew one side of the cross section? So I need to know how long that is. I don't think the next thing is on the golden notes. I don't think I ever quite found room for it. But you need to remember from a previous class that the length of any vertical line is always the y-coordinate at the top of the line, subtract the y-coordinate at the bottom. So raise your hand if you can tell me, how do I calculate the y-coordinate of that blue dot right there? How do I calculate that y-coordinate? Let's go, Brock.
Would it just be f of x minus g of x? Or, yeah.
So the y-coordinate here is just f itself, because that's just a dot on f. So that y-coordinate is just f. How many knew? 2 more. Then this y-coordinate in green, this y-coordinate is g of x. Questions? Okay, 3 pebbles for this one. So right here, what is being calculated by the formula within the parentheses? What's being calculated, Mary?
The length of the
Length of the blue line. How many knew? 3. Mary, if I draw a purple line, I'm going to need to know how long that line is also. Do I create a new formula, or will the formula I have work?
formula you have.
Perfect. What do I change in the formula, Mary, so that I can calculate the blue line's length and then switch and calculate the purple line's length?
Just going to be the x value.
Just the x value. 3 more. Questions? Cool. So now you know this, so hands up, how do I calculate the area of the cross section? That's the length of a blue line. The cross section, I can't really draw in 3 dimensions very good, but it's kind of like a square coming off like this, kind of. Like stacking on the surface. How do I find the area of this cross-sectional slice given what I have? Hands up. Let's go, Brinley.
You you square it?
Yep. So I need to erase this because I'm no longer calculating a length. Once I square, this is now calculating the area of the cross section. How many new? 2 more. Those are adding up nicely. I need the volume of the cross section, which means I need to do what Isaac said. I've got to take length times width times height. So hands up if you know what symbol we're going to use to represent how thick the cross section is, Beth.
Did you do the integral? Or no, dx.
Much
Sorry.
better, much better. Okay, if you knew that, 2 more. Beth, what's the purpose of the integral?
It lets you switch the x's.
Perfect, lets you switch the x's. So what's the first x, Beth?
B.
It was that value b, right?
Yeah.
And they don't have to rewrite it down. They had it written down in A. Is it 1.033?
Yeah.
They don't have to rewrite it. I'm just doing it so the video can see it.
Oh, that's
So it's written like before an A.
Yeah.
That counts.
It counts.
Okay.
The way you remember, it's really simple. This entire sheet is one problem to the grader.
Okay.
So if there's information written in A that they end up using in D, it's totally fine.
Oh,
Totally fine. So then the final, what's the last limit? 2, right?
Yeah.
And does somebody have a correct decimal for me? So we have one they trust?
1.283.
1.283.
I got that one.
A lot of those. We'll double check here real fast. See how the points are awarded.
Finally found one.
Definitely is.
So this was 3 points for that.
dang, this was so close.
Here's how the points are awarded. So go ahead and do the grading. Oh, I have a better picture here. Look, that's much better. I like that.
Did you draw that one?
I did.
Looks nice.
And I have a better solution now. I just haven't had time to implement it. So I have maybe I have it on my computer. Maybe not.
So this is.
They just got the answer wrong.
Wait, how many is it for? 3?
3 points total.
Were you 3D printing a fan
Yes.
Technically, are you supposed to round 1/3 or no? Doesn't
though?
matter.
And you've already
You have to round to 3 or more.
Okay, so if they put 4, they're fine.
If they put 4, they're okay. 3 or more.
I think the only last grade my dad 3D printed was a holder for the pillar.
Oh, there you go.
If you're looking for the cross section.
The Nicholas shirt.
There we go.
Or-
I don't think I can pan without a mouse.
So.
Units squared or cubed?
It's units cubed because it's volume. They did not give points for units on this one, so you won't dock them. Mistaken.
This person writes so small. Look how tiny their handwriting is. It's very impressive.
They forgot that
We're at
DFX on it.
So if they have a square.
Yeah, I just wanted to forget to
You
get
didn't have
that.
the eraser. That's so relatable. You don't
Yeah, I just messed up on the answer.
How many points is this worth?
The 2 of them rolling out.
I don't know if anybody cares. That's the idea. Like, that's the region. There's the squares stacked on top of the region to form a volume.
Kind of looks like a caterpillar.
You
Yeah,
can,
that's kind of same.
I was
You can-
thinking more
you can see the graph kind of below down there, just kind of vague. Anyway, that's the idea. Stop the video now.
Okay, so it's
So is that?